Trying to build a career in higher education, it can feel like you're trying to solve this giant global puzzle, right? Well, today we're going to look at a platform that's trying to be the master key to that puzzle, academicjobs.com. We'll break down exactly how their ecosystem is set up to simplify the whole world of academic careers.
So, to really get what they're doing, you first have to understand the problem they're trying to solve. And honestly, the global academic job market, it's a mess. It's incredibly complex. It doesn't matter if you're a university hunting for that perfect researcher or a professor trying to find your next big move, the sheer scale of it all can be completely overwhelming.
And that really brings us to the big question, right? For everyone involved, for both sides of the coin. How do you find that perfect fit in this huge, sprawling world of global academia? Finding that match is the goal, but actually doing it, that's the real challenge.
And this slide, this really lays out the two sides of the story. You've got the institutions, right? Their goal is pretty straightforward. Recruit the absolute best, top-tier staff to make their research and their reputation shine. Then you've got the academics. And what do they want? Career progression, meaningful work. Now, you'd think these goals would line up perfectly, but they don't always. And that little bit of friction, that's what makes the market so tricky to navigate.
So what's the solution here? Well, the whole idea we're digging into today is this new model, creating a single comprehensive hub, a place designed specifically to bridge that gap between what the universities need and what the talented professionals are looking for. And the term they use for this is a holistic ecosystem. Now that might sound like a bit of a buzzword, but the idea behind it is super important. This is not, I repeat, not just another job board. The whole point is to build this interconnected space that supports every single part of an academic's career journey.
So, what does this ecosystem actually have in it? Well, here are the core pieces. Of course, it starts with a massive job board covering both local and international positions. But then you start layering on all this other stuff. Daily academic news, research updates, specialized employer rankings, even a universal directory for academic conferences. You can already see how it's more than just a list of jobs, right?
So let's break this down. First up, let's look at it from the university's perspective. What's in it for them? For a university or a research institute, what's the actual tangible benefit of using a platform like this? Well, it really boils down to one thing: getting the best talent.
The number one advantage is just sheer access. Instead of just putting an ad out there and hoping for the best, institutions can tap into this global pool of highly qualified professionals. And here's the kicker. These are people who are actively looking for their next career move. That means you're not just reaching people, you're reaching people who are engaged and ready to talk.
Okay, and this is pretty interesting. Let's talk about the money side of things for a second. The platform offers this 12-month unlimited job advertising package. Think about what that means for universities' budget. Instead of paying for every single job ad, they get this flat rate deal. It makes their recruitment spending way more predictable and a whole lot more cost-effective. It's a huge value proposition.
And this is where things get really, really clever. The platform uses AI. But not just to post jobs. The AI proactively goes out and finds highly qualified academics for those super specialized roles. So think of it less like a bulletin board where you pin up a notice and more like an active AI-powered headhunter that's working for you 24/7.
All right, so that's the university side of the story. Now let's flip it around. What if you're the academic, the researcher, the professor, the educator? How does this whole ecosystem work for you? How does it become your personal toolkit for navigating your career?
Well, it basically gives you a super streamlined path forward. Step 1, discover. You browse all the jobs, local and international. Step 2, evaluate. You're not just looking at a job title. You can use the employer rankings to make a really informed choice. Step 3, stay informed. You get daily news and research updates, so you're always in the loop. And step 4, network. You can find relevant conferences to attend. See? It covers the entire cycle of career development.
And this quote, this one really hits the nail on the head about what makes this different. It talks about the specialized ranking systems. Now, these aren't just about academic prestige or who has the most famous name. They actually evaluate employer desirability. What's it really like to work there? This is huge because it helps you make a choice that's not just good for your CV, but good for you.
Okay, so we've looked at the institutions and we've looked at the professionals, but the real magic, the real power, happens where those two sides meet. This is where the platform becomes so much more than the sum of its parts. It creates this self-reinforcing community.
And here's the core idea behind that. It's not just a place you go when you need a job. It's a place where professionals go for their daily news, to check out rankings, to find conferences. Because people have all these reasons to visit every day, it becomes this central hub, this town square for academia. That constant engagement is what makes it so much more valuable than a website you only think about when you're unemployed.
And remember that smart AI we were talking about? Well, it plays a massive role in building this community. It's not just connecting academics to jobs, it's also identifying experts and inviting them to contribute news articles or to promote their latest research papers. The AI is literally weaving the fabric of this community together.
So what's the end result of all this? When you put all these interconnected pieces together, you get a single, streamlined environment. It takes the academic job market, which is, let's be honest, usually fragmented, confusing, and super frustrating, and it brings in some much-needed simplicity and clarity.
So when you step back and look at the whole picture, what's the big takeaway? By combining a job board with news, with community features, and that proactive AI, this integrated model is, well, it's a pretty powerful vision for the future. And it really leaves us with a final question to chew on. Is this the future of academic recruitment and career development? Maybe even for all specialized careers?